Okay, we're going to crack 1 bushel of hickory nuts. The majority of these nuts in here are pig nut hickory. Pig nuts, and there's some shagbarks. Shagbark hickory have a little bit more of an angular appearance to the shell. These are some exceptionally large pig nut hickory, but usually kind of a more round bulbous type appearance towards the tip. I'm going to be using my homemade nut cracker called the Turbo Crack 5000 and shaker sorting table. Going to run these nuts through multiple times so that we lightly crack the shell and try to get as many halves out as possible. The one thing about hickory nuts as opposed to black walnuts is they actually do crack out in a large percentage of whole halves. So we're going to crack this whole bushel. It's 33 pounds. And then we're going to figure out what our yield is of percent crack. Okay, I got 3 different categories here after processing that whole bushel. Right here, I got the material that, I think I extracted about as much as I could extract out of it as far as my cracker could go down. This material is going to get saved and get simmered in hot water in a water separation technique to make a broth or a type of hickory nut tea type infusion. A lot of people call it hickory milk. This material that falls through, this very fine material, falls through the shaker table. I'm going to use a water separation technique on this, simmer it in warm water. The small bits and pieces are going to float to the surface where they'll be extracted. It'll be basically a hickory nut meal. Put it in the dehydrator, dry it, and then I can store it as a hickory nut type meal. This material over here is stuff that I'm just going to hand sort. I am going to run, and there's a fair amount of quarters and large halves, in here. I am going to run this through my air cleaner, and it will vacuum out the light, lofty material, like there's some husk in here. Okay. So I'm going to run that through my air shell separator and get that out. Unfortunately, that's about as good as it's going to get. It'll get some of this light material, leaf and debris out of here, and primarily these husks. And I'm going to have to hand sort after that. So I'll show you that technique, the water separation technique. Okay, so I've taken a scoop of that material, put it in a pan. Here I've got a pan filled up with water. It's simmering on the stove, and I'll stir it once in a while. What you'll see in about an hour, all the hickory nut meat is going to float up to the top, and then I'm going to extract. Okay, I've got a bunch of simmering done here. And what you see here is you see a bunch of nut meat floating to the top. Let it drain. I'll put it on these dehydrator sheets. Put it on very low airflow, only about 100 degrees. Let it dry there almost overnight, and I'll have a bunch of meal. What I'm going to do is going to end up weighing all this stuff after I'm done. Okay, your final result here is you have a multitude of different products. You have the hickory nut meal, which taste nice and oily and buttery, which hickory nuts are known for. Then you have the actual whole nut pieces that we hand sorted, so they taste a little bit more like the true nut taste because they didn't go through the simmering in the water, so they do retain all their oils. You have this product here, which is the shell fragments that we did not, that basically had ran through the shaker table multitude of times. This will be put in freezer bags and stored to boil and make more hickory nut broth. We have the sorted out, strained out broth that we can freeze for a later date, so you can use it as like a soup stock, or just heat it up and use it like a tea. And here's some more product that's simmering. Here's some more that's simmering and heating up. So multitude of products here with the hickory nuts. So you end up with quite a bit of this stuff. Just freeze it so you can retain the freshness, and you got a lot of products left from the hickory nut. And there really isn't a better tasting nut to be had.